Hello and welcome back to the channel everyone, or welcome for the first time if you're a new viewer. I am James and this is a top 10 moments from season 1 episode 1 of The Wheel of Time. I am a long-time fan of the series, but I won't be covering book spoilers in this video. I will only be talking about things that happened in episode 1 of the Amazon Prime TV show. This is going to be just sort of a countdown from 10 to 1 of all my favourite moments that were in the first episode, along with a few honourable mentions for good measure. So, without further ado, let's get right into this and I'll kick it off with number 10. Right off the bat, I'm demonstrating that I am not going in any sort of chronological order, because number 10 is seeing Young Bull in action for the first time. Perrin totally loses it when this trolloc, or group of trollocs even, is threatening his loved ones and the people of Two Rivers. And he goes wild on this trolloc, and he kind of loses it and blacks out, seeing red, so to speak. He's totally going wild on this trolloc, and in his rage, he accidentally murders his own wife. It was a powerful moment in the scene, and him going wild as a hint of things to come for Perrin that really shows the beast within. Moving on to number 9, we have Moiraine's injury during the Winter Night Battle. Now, things start to be taking a turn for our heroes of the story as Moiraine and Lan join the fight, and it seems like it might be turning the tides of the battle. That is until one of the trollocs throws a very well aimed, it looked like a short sword. It was probably like a dagger to him, right into Moiraine, of course. And this is the cause of the injury that was speculated from trailers and teasers, and this just sets up the story of the next few episodes really well. Whilst Moiraine's injury was quite exciting and a shock to the viewer with how powerful we see her being, the one that took me aback more was watching this trolloc drag Nynaeve off by her braid. And that's the last we see of her, at least for now. And everybody knows, at the end of the day, if you don't see a body, that means that they're not necessarily dead. So, it leaves some suspense about what actually happened to her after that trolloc dragged her off, which I think is a great hook for the future episodes. On to number 7.
Where are the girls?
Mat with his sisters. I really felt heartache on Mat's behalf. And he's really trying his best to look after his sisters, even if that's leading him down the wrong path, which I think really portrays his motivations and his internal logistics quite upfront for a new viewer. And I thought that these scenes between Mat and his sisters, him, shouting, and then later when he ran to find them. I have to say, at this point, my sister did comment. I got to watch it with her at launch, which was awesome. She's not a book reader, but she was like, those girls were perfectly well hid. They were very well hidden. Like, I don't think anyone was gonna find them, but he took them out of that spot. And I just couldn't help but laugh because it's the perfect example of Mat as a character. Like, he's trying to do the right thing with every bone in his body. He's just really fucking dumb. Like, you can't hate him for it. These scenes altogether really made me fall in love with Barney as Mat, and it's going to be sad to see him recast later on in season 2, but we won't linger on that. This was my number 7, Mat with his sisters. Coming in hot at number 6, we have the man that wasn't there. This was right out of the gates at the start of the episode. You have the first 60 seconds of the show where Moiraine's introducing the basic plot, and then we cut to a scene of a channeler. Initially, I thought this was Logan. The first viewing I had was in a screening, and the quality was not great on a projector. So initially, I thought it was Logan, this man, these two men, I should say. And they're running away from Red Sisters. It's really tense straight away, so it grabs your attention. And then one of the men says to the other one,
We can't die like this. You can fight them. Use it.
turns out that guy didn't exist. So, yeah. Well, maybe he did exist in a way, but physically he didn't exist. He only existed inside the other guy's head, because that guy was insane. Because he is a male channeler, which is why the Red Sisters were chasing after him. So that sort of lets viewers know out of the gates straight away, look, you will go nuts if you channel the one power as a man. So don't do it. It's something to be scared of. And number 5 is everyone in fantasy's favourite daddy, Blademaster Tam. This scene was awesome, and if you're a fan of the books, you will have loved it just as much as I did. But even if you aren't getting to see Rand's dad going wild. Okay, what's really interesting though is at the start of this fight, the trollologist like no, not feeling anything. You know, they're stabbing him with spears, shooting at arrows, and he's just like, fuck you guys, throwing them around, no cares in the world. But then, when Tam manages to get the sword out from under the bed, and we see the quick flash of the heron mark on the hilt, that's a detail that you'll find out more about later. But definitely something to keep your eye on, that heron mark. But yeah, he flashes it, and straight away we can see his stance change. He takes the sword form, gets ready to flow, and then begins the dance with the trolloc. Now, it does go in his favour initially, but it's looking pretty bad for him until Ran saves the day. Gets his dad back to safety eventually in the two rivers. But seeing Tam wielding the blade, fighting a trolloc who we believe to be Narg, was just a great fan service and something that I'm sure will hook viewers who thought that he was possibly going to die in that moment.
Hey, over here!
Deeper into the list, at number 4, we are skipping to the end of the episode because my 4th favourite thing about this episode was the ending. And by that I mean the last minute or so of voiceover that came with the scene of the gang leaving the two rivers.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again.
For those who don't know, this is directly from the first page of the first Wheel of Time book. Well, other than prologues. It's also how every Wheel of Time book begins, a variation of it, but the same beginning, and I can't help but get emotional every time I see this end of the episode, which I think I've watched like 3 times now. It's been out for about 6 hours, so yes, I have a problem. Let's not go into that. Let's just focus on how awesome Rosamund Pike's narration over this outro is. And after the whole episode, it caps it off in such a phenomenal way that if you are familiar with it, it means a lot to you and it gets you emotional. And if you aren't familiar with it, there's your introduction to the world as we all had it. Welcome to the club.
In one age, called the Third Age by some, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time. But it was a beginning.
Breaking into the top 3, we have a kind of comedic scene, but also a sad one, between Padden Finn and Matt. And I just want to say, Johan Meyer's Padden Finn is impeccable. Just look at this guy's smiling face and tell me he's not Padden Finn. If you're a book reader, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a book reader, that's okay. Keep your eye on this guy because he is gonna be maybe not so much in the first season. I don't know, in the latter half of it. But he is gonna be around. And he's maybe not what you think. Anyway, I love this introductory scene of him with Matt, and it really showed both of their characters quite well.
You're right, bastard, Paddington. Pleasure as always.
I just really love this scene. I can't wait for more Paddington. Number 2, the runner-up. This was a very epic moment. Moiraine literally tears it up in the Two Rivers. She does no holds barred, rips everything to shreds in one last outburst of defiance to the trollocs. And it does the job, but it also takes a large portion of the village down in flames and ashes, which is going to take a while to rebuild. But Two Rivers people are stubborn and known to rebuild, so I'm sure they will. And getting to see Moiraine rip apart the wine spring in brick by brick and fling it at Trollocs was epic. Absolutely epic. Don't you agree? Look at it. It's so good. Before I give you my number 1 moment from this episode, I want to shout out a few honourable mentions real quick. There's Congar taunting this Trolloc.
You want a real feast? Come and get some of this!
Absolutely fantastic, 100% solid interpretation of Two Rivers women. I know my sister really liked this part. I could see her getting excited as the women were all standing up for themselves and taking on this Trolloc, and I could feel it too. It as a reader, it's really an installation of the culture, and that's what Robert Jordan did with his words a lot of the time, was instill the culture in scenes in ways that you wouldn't expect. And I really love that aspect. These are meant to be quick honourable mentions though, so I will keep it moving. And this one will be a bit shorter. But Lan wanting the bath to be heated was fucking hilarious, man. He only likes his bath if his balls are roasting hot. Keep that in mind if you're a Laniel Henny stan. Or a Staniel Henny? My final honourable mention in this episode has to be Moiraine and Nynaeve having a standoff by the sacred pool in the Two Rivers. Moiraine goes into this conversation with a purpose. Do not mistake her. She is trying to ascertain Nynaeve's age and nothing else because she wants to see whether Nynaeve fits within the time frame of who could be the Dragon Reborn. Um, if she just asked her though, Nynaeve's answer would have been, "Never you mind, it's none of your business." So instead, she pisses her off until Nynaeve slips and lets it out in a fit of anger. Both of the characters are so well acted in this scene, and it would be a miss if I didn't at least mention it in my list.
They call you a leader in this town, Wisdom, and here you are cleaning.
And finally, in the #1 spot for episode 1 of The Wheel of Time, this moment was the one that got me most emotional when I first saw the episode. And since, whenever I think about the episode, it's the thought that stays with me. The boys and their coins.
Matt, we noticed your luck wasn't really with you last night. So Rand and I chipped in to buy some lanterns for the girls.
We'll be all right. Thank you.
All right, I should get home.
Don't stay up mountain too long.
I won't.
Perrin and Rand scrape together some small coins, a silver and 2 coppers maybe, because they feel bad about taking Matt's money from him, gambling. They know the background he comes from and that he needs it more than they do. And this scene alone, despite being so short, just showed all of the boys being friends in such a wholesome way that it just really, you can tell these guys have been friends their whole life. They're there for each other. They've got each other's backs. And yeah, it's getting me emotional and talking about it. But this scene was just perfect. What more can I say? It was perfect. That's all for this first video in this series, guys. Let me know if you liked it down below. Let me know what your favourite moment from the episode was. I'd be happy to hear if you had the same ones as me, or if you think I was wrong and there should have been something else in the #1 spot. I make plenty of videos here for both book readers and new fans alike, so stick around if you want more spoiler-free content, or if you're a book fan, I make a lot of spoiler-filled content such as music videos, has Wheel of Time characters, and I also designed a board game, so look out around for that. But yeah, guys, this has been a blast. I can't wait to get to the next 2 episodes of this over the next week before episode 4 comes out, because that's gonna happen. I've already watched episodes 2 and 3, and I actually already have my top 10 lists figured out for them. But for now, it's 6:30 a.m. on release day, and I think I'm gonna wrap up and edit this tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel for more. I don't know why I'm pointing, because I'm not pointing at anything in particular, because I'm moving. I'm doing the rudder. That's what I'm doing. How we throw ships.